If you don't come on the show Eminem, you're not black.
That.
He's honorary. Is he honorary black or no?
I wouldn't be mad if he said the N-word.
I would. I wouldn't. I'd be like, you've done a lot for the culture.
Yeah, he could pack me up. But my boy Ramal, though, if you want to hit him in a rap battle, I don't think you would touch him. Just saying. That's just me, though.
Eminem, I'll cook you.
Welcome back to Sun City SITREP. My name is Deshawn Johnson. And I know I'm not the usual skin tone that you're used to, but as someone that's in the hip hop community and someone that makes music, I feel like this is something that I had to do and something that I wanted to do. So I wanted to introduce someone that is in the hip hop community and is really just starting to blow up massively. This is Ramal. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Ramal, and I do love hip hop music. I've dabbled here and there, you know what I mean? That was a pretty sick intro. Dang, that was nice. I liked
Thank
it. It was funny. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Ramal. Hello. I make music. Hello.
Yeah. So tell me, what inspired you to start making music?
Man, I think what really inspired me, like I remember when I was a kid, I would record like little like my parents used to listen to a lot of R&B, and so I would record a lot of like Trey songs on my like DS, you know what I mean, like how they had the voice recorder app. But I don't think I was really inspired until like maybe like 7th grade when I started listening to Odd Future, and they were kind of like the first people that I saw that was like, oh, you don't have to be like a certain type of person to like make rap music. Like you can be from wherever you want to be from and like talk about whatever you want to talk about, and it can still like encapsulate people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I get you. Yeah, there's something that you said that you used to like get like a tape recorder with your DS and then you would record music on that. Yeah, that's something I used to do too. When I would hear something on like the radio, like I would play the radio on my TV, like the Sirius XM.
Oh, I feel
And
you.
then I would get like a tape recorder and like, oh, I love this song. But I would start it like 5 minutes late. Or like not 5 minutes late, like 5 seconds late, and then I
It's,
don't
like,
have the
off
beginning,
beat.
and I'm just like, this is the most annoying thing, bro.
I never put like a, dang, that's smart though. I never thought to like actually grab this song and like play it in the background. I was just like kind of like singing like my raw vocals into like the DS. I remember when my family like found it, like they were going through my DS and they found it, and they were like, my mom was like being supportive. She was like, oh, like that. But then everybody else was kind of like, they just thought it was a little funny, a little cute, a little quirky. You know what I mean?
No, there's no one that's gonna support you like your mother or your parents.
Love her.
Because like I always show my mom my music, and then like even though people would hate on it, she would always tell me like, "Oh, this is good. Like you sound like Tupac. Why are you lying to me like this
Like,
right now?"
My mom, we were riding in the car one time. I don't remember where we was going, but we were just listening to music. Her playlist was on shuffle, and then one of my songs started playing. I was like, okay, I see you a fan. I like it. And then we never really like in my house. I don't really talk about it. I don't really talk about kind of like music stuff with people that are like close to me in my life. I don't know why. It just kind of feels like a separate identity. You know what I mean? But I kind of like it that way. Like kind of creates a mystique where it's like, oh, like who is this guy really? But
Yeah, we were listening to a couple of your songs before you came on here. Generally, the reason why we started talking to you more and we wanted to get you on the show is because, like, dang, you make really high production music. It's not just like you get a beat, you put your vocals on it, release. No, like you really take your time, and it feels like you do some planning on it. Do you plan out your songs, or what's the creativity process?
like the song itself. I don't really like I'd say maybe 30% of the time that I actually have like a plan thought out for how I want the structure to work. Usually it's just kind of like very just kind of like off the cuff, you know? Like I just find like the sample, put all the elements together, just like kind of record whatever I like, and then send it to send like the demos out. You know, I send the demos out to people that I'm like that I trust, you know, trust their opinions and stuff, and then
1000%.
they give me like the feedback, and I'm like, cool, and then we take it over to the boy Brian, that's our engineer and all that, and then we record it over there. But usually not really like a plan, so to speak, with how the song is gonna be structured and all that. So, but
so you're just going with the flow.
yeah, I think that's a better way to like create. I don't know.
Okay,
Like,
no worries. And how do you know when the song is finished? Do you say like finishing touches? This is it. This is the one that we're uploading. When do you say this is it?
just kind of like when I feel like I don't have anything else to like say for on that track. I'm just like, well, that's everything that I could think of in the moment, you know. A lot of times, you know, it's actually it's interesting. A lot of times when we're actually going to the studio to like record and put the finishing touches on, I'll only have like half the song written, and then like the night before we go, I like write the rest of it. But I think that's actually beneficial because I think I just work better under pressure. And I'm like, I have to finish this like right now, and that's how like I've come up with a lot of good stuff like that. Like just like I don't know. I'm weird. I'm like a big procrastinator. So
No, I feel that. Like I'll record a bunch of songs. Like I'll record one song, and then like I'm not even finished writing it. And then once I get to the end of it, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with this. And then I wait till the next day, and I'm like, I write something. It is the most annoying thing when you can't recreate the voice that you were like.
bruh, not for real.
And then I just scrap the whole song.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
Yeah, I do that a lot actually. Where I'm just like, I lost the momentum, the feeling of it, and I'm just like, oh, it's gone. Like it's cooked. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know.
So we do have one of your songs right here. We're just gonna play like a minute of it and just listen to it.
Oh, preach. I wonder which one it is. Oh.
Baby, you know what it is. Do I gotta show you again? You got too fucked up and fucked up your friend. Now you say you never trusting again. Why you got me paying the debt? Saying I showed up better than them. Why you froze up, focus on them. What them folks done to you, baby? Got you holding your breath. What them folks done to you, baby? Got you short in the step. Overthinking the next. Let's just do it again. We ain't never gonna do it again. Do it for your girl, coming correct. I won't never let them do it again. Let go of that bullshit, girl. I got you now. New bed, new sheets, new roses. I hold you down. Fuck all of them niggas, girl. You know that now. No trust, no love, no sheets, girl. Let's lay this down.
Yeah. That's like that's the newest one we just dropped actually.
No, that was really fire.
That's funny. Like a couple months ago, way before we released the song, I was like, I didn't really like it, you know, like, just going back and listening to it a couple times, and then like, I don't know. I guess over time it kind of grew on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I don't know. It's just not really my like sound for real. Like in terms of like what I just kind of like one of those things that I wanted to have fun with. So I was just kind of thinking about like, is this necessary? But then I'm glad we released it. I think it's a pretty cool song. You know what I mean?
And we were talking before, and you said that you were missing for a couple months, and now you came back. Where have you been for the past few months?
Oh man, just kind of doing life stuff. Just like not focused on creating, not like by choice. I just didn't like have anything to like. I just didn't have anything to talk about. It's just like I'm just like that where I'm like, if I don't have anything to say, I'm just not really gonna say it. Like there's just nothing for me to tell y'all about. There's nothing going on. And I think like I was just so caught up in like just life, how life goes, and then just I don't know. That just was like I don't know.
Yeah, no worries. So in that time, did you develop any new interests? You said that you were just focused on yourself.
Yeah, I started reading. I actually started reading, which is something I wanted to do. Started going to the gym a little bit, relatively consistently.
Nice.
Started going on like just like walks again, just like for like.
So you're completely reinventing yourself.
I'm trying. I mean, I just feel like I need to practice more like just kind of like mindfulness, just being like operating within myself and being present, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I've been working on and like.
Okay. So now that you've worked on yourself and you're ready to be around people, the El Paso community, how do you feel about the El Paso hip hop community? Because I feel like I formed my own opinion, but seeing someone else, I want to see what your opinion is.
I would like to know your opinion, but I think it's a lot of like really underrated people out right now. Like, shout out my boys TZ and Tazzy and their little bro Tyrone. They're pretty dope. That's True Squad if you don't know. My boy Skirt, he's pretty dope. JD, there's just a lot of guys out here. My boy Melly, he doesn't release nothing, but my boy Melly is pretty fire. I just think it's a really like underrated scene that not a lot of people pay attention to because it's so like it is like it's a border town, you know, very high Hispanic population. So I mean everybody's focused mostly on like reggaeton and I think like the hip hop side of it kind of falls by the wayside unless you're like Drake or something. But if you pay attention to the rap scene in El Paso, I think it's actually very lush, you know. So, but what do you think?
I mean, my hip hop opinion, like I've been in since like 2016, and like I would ask people to do a feature and this and that third, and when they would get the track, they would take ages to get back to me, and I'm just like, I would really like to release a song. So there's some songs that are released that were like a minute and 30, but there's supposed to be a second verse on it. But I'm just like, I've already said what I need to say on this track, and you're not getting back to me. I'm not gonna say any names or anything, but there's other like people who are big in the scene who do not reach down to help anybody. I'm not saying like Khalid or anything, but hey, reach out to me if you ever want to collab or anything. But you get like people that it's a crap bucket. Like there are people in El Paso who don't really uplift and share like your music. Like I could post a song on my Instagram. If you share that on my Instagram or your Instagram, hey, I appreciate you.
That is dope.
Like you're showing love. How many people are really going to show love in the hip hop community in El Paso? I mean, I know you have your group.
I feel you.
But it's not like people are...
It's like inconsistent. So I get what you mean. So you're saying like the scene is just inconsistent as a whole, you know? I think, yeah, I mean, I'd say that I'm a little bit guilty of that at times where like I'm supposed to like do certain things with certain people and then I just kind of get caught up in like my own kind of like artistic flow. I also think I just have a problem with like collaborating sometimes, you know? Like, I'm just like, dang, like just in general, not even just in music. I just like... I'm a very like DIY kind of guy.
I get you.
So I'm like,
but on another side, like not social media, but like going out to events and open mics and you know performances. Do you do any of that?
Yeah, I had what was the last one I did? The last one I did was at Neeb Collective, and that was a really great night. There was a lot of great talent there, but and I felt like that was a more like open and welcoming crowd. I think I will say that like in El Paso, it is kind of like you said, a crab bucket, very hit or miss. Like, I don't know if it's like the demographic every time that I go out to do a performance. And, I mean, I just worry about that, but you know, you never know until you go and try. I've been to a couple small open mics where I looked around and I was like, dang, like this is not like people are not going to like this. And then I do my performance and I get off the mic and people are like, oh my gosh, can I get your Instagram? Like, oh, so good. And I'm like, oh, you know, like, so you just got to try it, I guess. You never know.
1000%. Your creativity process, do you run into any blocks?
All the time, bruh. Like, I just, like we were talking about, like sometimes you'll write like a chorus, you know, and then like, but you can't really think of anything that leads into the chorus. And then like, I'll leave it on my computer for like 2-3 months and then like, accidentally deleted or something. So I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, where's that file? I actually want to finish that, and I just don't have it anymore. And a lot of times, like, I don't even get that deep into the process. Like, I'm just like scrolling through, like, trying to find a sample, and then I find the sample, but then like I can't really get it to sound how it sounds in my head. So then I'm like, dang, like, so then I just go and like play the game or something. I'm like, nah, I'll do it another time. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy, like talking about creativity, like. If you watch people who like make music like on YouTube and stuff, like everybody says a different thing about how you should do it. Like some people are like, you should be making like 5 beats a day. You should be making like 5 songs a week. Some people are like, just like whenever you are struck with the kind of like a muse, you know, go for it. And that's kind of how I do it. I'm like, I I just can't like create in a vacuum. Like it has to be like I have to be in that mode. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean I don't know. Maybe that's counterproductive, but I think it works for me. So.
Yeah, no worry. Your muse. You're talking about your muse and what inspires you. And okay, well, first tell me what inspires you.
What inspires me? My mom. Shout out, mom.
Of course,
I'll be watching anime. Anime really inspires me, to be honest. Like,
I respect it.
just the way that they are. Like, do you watch anime?
Of course.
Okay. So the stories. Like, they're just like the weakest, like dingiest, most bummy dude, and then they like just power up. They're like fire.
Yeah, they go through their whole training arc,
You know
and
what I'm
then
saying?
they come
And you're
back.
like, and then it makes you feel like, dang, like that's really me. Like, I just love like you can really see yourself in those characters. Like, lately I've been inspired. Have you watched Snowfall?
Can't say I have.
I love that show. Anyways, it's essentially the story about like how the FBI, the CIA was pushing crack into the black neighborhoods in the 80s. It's essentially the story.
I see.
But I love that show. It's but like just like how the main character is a hustler and all that. A lot of my inspiration is derived from like shows that I'm watching. So sometimes like songs sometimes, but I try not to get too inspired by like a song because then like I think you create with that song in your head and you want your song to sound like
you try
that
to
song.
replicate it.
You know what I'm
Not
saying?
necessarily replicate it, but you kind of like you take elements from it that sound like it, and now it's not even you anymore.
Yeah, no, for real. And then I'm like, all right. So I try not to get too inspired by like other musicians that are out or whatever. I'm like, so mostly just like life and TV and family. Those are my main like inspirations.
Respect. And your music inspirations, like your favorite artists. Give me your top 3. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like hip hop, rap. It could be like indie or tell me rock or something like that. What's your favorite? What's you
all time? Maybe controversial these days, but Kanye West. I just can't stop.
Okay,
just can't stop loving Kanye. Tyler, just because Tyler, like I said, like Odd Future was the first group that really like that really inspired me to do all this stuff. And number three is like Smino. Have you heard Smino?
Of course.
I love Smino, bro. Like he's just like his style is so like
unique.
It is really like that word is used so loosely now. You know what I mean? But like with Smino, I'm like, dog, like he's the only person doing it the way he does it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so, yeah. Those are my
beat selection, all of that.
Everything, bro. Everything he does, I'm just like, how do you? You know what I mean? He's amazing. And Tizo, I love Tizo.
How do you pick your beats?
How do I? Well, I make them usually. So like I'm not like because like you know, just all that like stuff with like leasing a beat and all this stuff. I don't want to deal with that. But like I'll say how like I pick the sounds for the beats. I want them to be like very like soulful because I grew up listening to that music a lot. And then like very like I want it like to have like kind of like a live feel. You know, I like having that just because like you know whenever I get to that point where like I can have like a live band with me. I think that would just enhance the experience whenever it's performed. So I'm thinking a lot about like I'm also always thinking about a lot of like the IRL logistics of like how like a performance would work when I'm making a beat or whatever. But like yeah, just like I'm just looking for soul mostly. Like that's really it.
I see.
Not like a melody or nothing. I'm like, does this have soul? Then I'm gonna use it. You know what I mean?
I get you. And let's talk about the critique part. You say you send your music to people and they say that they like it, and then you usually go with the things that they say. But when they say that they don't like it or there's something that's pressing, how do you deal with critiques where people are saying like you should do this or this doesn't sound good?
I mean, I don't really like. I'm not gonna say I don't care because I mean I do a little bit. But I try not to like let it get. I think like I'll send the music out. For the most part, I won't send it out unless I already like it. You know what I mean? So like, most of the time, if I already like it, your opinion isn't necessarily gonna change how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So like, even if you're like, oh, I don't really like it, I'm like, you know, I still think it's worth some play. But I don't know. I think like if somebody's like they don't like it, I'm just like, oh dang, like that's unfortunate. But I mean, I just don't let it get to me too much. Like, I don't know. Like, it's mostly like I just send it to them to kind of like confirm how I already feel about it, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
Like, I don't know. I have like, I guess I have like confidence in it. I'm like, oh, this is good. Like, so I'm like, whatever, you know?
I get you. I get you. One thing that you do differently, one thing that set you apart that we think set you apart from a lot of people, music wise or in general, is you have a manager.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, he's always been like a very like business type of, like, he's always about his business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like every day that I met, like, bro, like from the minute that I met, bro, he was just like, how can we turn a profit on this? You know what I'm saying? And like, he's just more knowledgeable knowledgeable, sorry,
All
about
good, all
all that,
good.
you know? And he was on the track with me at first, like we were both like making the beats, you know?
Yeah.
But he cared more about like the marketing and like the branding and like just like the business, like, you know? And I mean, I didn't, like, I was just like,
Yeah.
I couldn't care about any of that, you know? He's teaching me now though, you know, because it's important to know.
I feel like that's where most artists go wrong, where they don't focus on the business side and it's mostly just creative. I mean, creating is really good and just like creating, put it out, but like, how are you going to get people to listen to it if you don't have like someone managing your stuff or marketing for you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's definitely rubbed off on me in that aspect because like I do understand it's important. But yeah, I mean, I just like always appreciated the way he does things and the way he carries himself, and like he takes the time to like know what he's talking about. Like he's not just operating off assumptions. And then he's a very like he's a great guy. He's a great manager. I trust him, you know. I go to the end of the world with him, you know. And then shout out my boy Alec as well. He's also on the team. That's our events guy, our events planner. Yeah, we're probably talking to him when this was like set up and all that. So shout out Alec. He's not here right now, but hello Alec. Hope you're good.
So one of the things that I wanted to do is just hit people with a curveball.
Word.
So when it comes to your music, I know this is going to sound like a weird question, but if your music had a taste, a flavor, what would it taste like?
That is actually interesting. I guess it would be like
I mean, while you think about it, I'll tell you what my music tastes like.
okay.
Because I had time to think about it.
Word.
Like I hit you with a curveball, you don't really have time to think about it. But for me, like I make a lot of music that comes off of emotion and like rage and feeling. So I would say my music has like a salty taste to it, like way too much salt, because when I started off making diss tracks, and then like later down the line, I was just like, well, I could just do this whenever I want. If someone has a problem with me, diss track. And that's where my salt comes from.
I feel
It's
you.
that savory taste.
Okay. I think mine's a little bit like a little sweet, you know? It's not too like, it's a little bit like let me see if that's like it's like rice pudding is kind of what I'm thinking of right now. Have you ever had rice pudding?
Yeah.
It's like rice pudding or yams or whatever, you know? It's kind
I
of like
love
that.
yams.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's sweet, not too sweet. It's just the perfect right amount of sweet. Always got the brown sugar cinnamon on it.
Yeah.
I always like that. You know, it's my flavor.
Okay. Where do you want to take your music from here? Because I see that you just recently started posting again. And then the next coming months, what do you plan to do?
In the coming months, really just kind of like working on like the craft a little more, you know, like I want to become like I just want to be really consistent with everything after this long hiatus that I kind of involuntary hiatus, or I mean, I guess it was voluntary, that's my bad. But yeah, I think where do I want my music to go in the next couple months? I just want to keep kind of speaking from a personal perspective. We're also working on like doing like sync. We want to start doing more like sync stuff, like, you know, getting songs in like movies and TV and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Just like, I don't know, just yeah. I think that's really what I'm focused on, you know. Just,
Okay,
and then we're thinking about maybe an album maybe.
Okay, I
We'll
was
see.
just about to
We'll
ask
see
that.
though.
Okay, an album. So, do you have any singles coming out? Is there something that you want to promote that you have going right now?
Well, no, we don't have any singles for real, but we're still like kind of recording all that. But you know, we've been working with this company called Symphony.
Mm.
You know, it's kind of like a you know, a partnership of sorts. You know, they're just investing in the career. You know, giving us more opportunity to like kind of go after it. You know, and put ourselves out there. So yeah.
Okay, so would you say that you have any advice for someone that wants to start making music?
I'd say just do it. You know, if you're gonna do it, just do it. There's nothing else that. There's just nothing that I could say. It's like just do it. You know, like be who you are. Don't try to be somebody else because then that's who you have to be forever. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Be consistent. You know. That's really just go after it. You know, because there's no fear for real. You know, like one day you're gonna die. You know, and then what are you gonna be thinking about for real? You know, like you're gonna be like, dang, I wish I would have just did that. So just do it. Just do it for real. Just do it.
I feel that. You said we're all eventually gonna die. So let's just say, hypothetically, your next song that you put out, your next album that you put out, is your last song. What precedent? How would you want people to feel about this song, and what would the song be about?
The song would be about all my friendships and everybody that has helped me along the way. I was actually thinking about this last night. You know,
Oh,
I was
really?
just like, I just want to be somebody that everybody can be proud of. You know, like somebody that my family and friends can be proud of. You know, so I think like everything I do is just kind of like operating through that lens of just like what would they do or what would they want me to do, you know what I mean? So I think like that's kind of the message I want to leave behind, is that like I really cared about my people and you know, was the best I could be for everybody, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know. I feel like the last song that I would put out would have to, because I'm a competitive person. You know, diss tracks.
yeah,
I love making music like that. But in terms of like hip hop, I feel like hip hop is a competition.
it really is. It is.
I feel like I would put out my best bars, like the best bars I have on like a really long beat, and just
like dang, who got that long song, bro? I don't know. Like Kendrick Control verse.
the Kendrick Control or the Sing for Me, or yeah.
I'm dying of thirst.
Yeah, that one. Oh, I love that song. I would
Yeah.
probably do something like that, but I probably wouldn't do like a storytelling. I'd probably do like, this is where I'm the best.
Exactly.
Because everyone has that point in their hip hop career where they're just like, I'm the best.
So your album would essentially be like Graduation by Kanye.
Oh, yeah.
Like, essentially, yeah, I love that album.
Have you hit that point in your career where you're just like, I'm the best, no one's doing it like me?
In general, like, yeah, I feel like I really do feel like, you know, like nobody in the city I feel like there's nobody in the city that can compete with me for real in terms of like ability and all that. And if I had an opportunity outside of here that I know that I would make the most of it, you know, because we stay prepped. So yeah, I think I've reached that point in my career where I feel extremely confident in like how I go about things, you know.
Okay. And going back to the creative process and why, you know, your ego, what do you think you're the best at when it comes to music, like lyric writing, beat making, or just the whole thing?
I would say probably I've been writing for a lot longer than I've been making beats, so I'd probably say writing for sure. I think like there's still times like when I'm making beats and then I hear the finished version of the beat and I'm like, I wish that was a little bit different or like maybe a little bit more grand. But when I'm with my writing, I don't usually get that feeling. I'm just like, that was good. That was good.
Okay.
That was good words right there.
And then, like, what's the most weird or interesting thing that inspired you to write a lyric? Like, is there a lyric that was just like, oh, this is the craziest thing that I've ever wrote, and it came from SpongeBob?
The weirdest thing, the weirdest lyric is you know how The Rock would come out and he'd be like, "Can you smell?" He would do that. So I have a lyric that's like, can you smell LA like rock? Like, just like kind of
Yeah.
like that. I think like, unless you really watched WWE as a kid, you know, you don't get it for real. We had a like a little phase where we kind of went back and was like rewatching like old WWE matches, bro.
Yeah.
And that was like, I was really inspired by that for a little bit. So that was kind of the most quirky thing that I've written about, I suppose.
I get you. A lot of my bars come from like Dragon Ball Z references or anime references. Like what's one that I said? I even reference Eminem. Hey Eminem, if you want to come on the show.
Eminem, show love. Come on, Eminem. If you don't come on the show, Eminem, you're not black.
That.
He's honorary. Is he honorary black or no?
I wouldn't be mad if he said the N-word.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, you know, you've done a lot for the culture.
Yeah, he could pack me up. But my boy Ramal, though, if you want to hit him in a rap battle, I don't think you would touch him. Just saying. That's just me, though.
Eminem, I'll cook you. I'm just playing M. Please chill. Please. I'm playing M. I'm sorry.
But going on to the next question. If you could live in any album or song, what album would it be in and why?
I was just talking about Graduation. I just love that album so much. Like, back when I was like, I used to run a lot, and when I would run, I would listen to that album like almost every single time I ran. You know, just because it's so full of like, I don't know, like positive affirmations and just like, yo, I'm that guy kind of talk. Like, I love that album and like the vibes and the feeling of it. It's like, it's so raw. I don't know. I just love that album so much. Like it might be my favorite album of all time. So yeah, that's probably the one.
Okay. And is there anything that you would like to say to the people watching? Like any inspirational words or
inspirational words? You know, I just hope you all are eating well and calling your parents and you know, washing your clothes, folding them, putting them away at the proper times, not just letting them sit in the basket until they're all wrinkly and then you forget that they're even clean and then you wash them again even though they're not actually dirty. I just hope you're actually taking care of yourself and putting your phone down every now and again. I'm not gonna lie, I've been doing that a lot more lately, just like not looking at my phone, and that feels so great. But yeah, just take care of yourself, man. Love you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, you said put your phone down. That's especially important. I really didn't start getting into breaking out of my shell until I put down Instagram and put down Facebook and all of that. Because it was just something about like watching people who are more successful than me that just put me in this mindset of like, oh, I'm garbage.
It's like you get a little bit like, you're like, all the worst parts of you come out when you're like scrolling. I think like all your envy is coming out. Yeah. Your jealousy, your insecurity.
Like, why is this artist doing better than me?
I'm like, bro, like, is these niggas that much better than me? I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? Not for real, but I do think it's like kind of like a renaissance of like just like going back to like more like natural low key times where like maybe we're back sitting on the electricity box outside, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just kind of like those vibes lately. I feel like that. I don't know. I have a little more hope for the world in general.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but hopefully not. So.
Yeah, we definitely need more times like that where we're just sitting down with people and not on our phones. And maybe we could talk more about music and maybe we could freestyle more. And maybe people wouldn't be so in their heads about their music if they were just sharing it with people that were close to them instead of online, because the online community is harsh.
It is. I mean, it really is. Just like people are like, I don't know what it is about it. It's like our default mode is just like mean. Like it's like our default is just mean, you know? And maybe it's like, maybe there's some type of evolutionary explanation for that, like survival of the fittest or whatever. Like maybe our monkey brains haven't like, no racial, our monkey brains haven't like, haven't evolved past like those kinds of feeling towards other humans for some reason. But I don't know. There's some cool people out here. Yeah. Also, I think like, I used to be really self-conscious about like my music. I still am kind of sometimes, you know, when you're just not having a great day. But I think like there's no real value in it. Just like put it out. If people don't like it, then they don't like it. and you're gonna be this if you're starting something, you're gonna be pretty trash. You're gonna be very bad at first, you know, and then like, but you're gonna get good, you know. There's like, it's like a so when you start something, it's easy to get really good really fast because like you're learning all the beginning steps, and then as you get better, you kind of like fall into like you're not getting better, and you're kind of like your progression is kind of plateaued, and that's like the valley of death for like creation. But if you can make it past that, then like your potential shoots up exponentially. So just make it through the valley of death if you're working on something.
I get you. Do you feel like El Paso has like a misconception about the hip hop community?
I think like I don't know. I think like hip hop has changed so much, just over this past decade, even that it's hard to even really put like a definition on what it is or what it's supposed to be. I mean, like, would you say there's a difference between rap music and hip hop, or would you say they're like kind of like interchangeable terms?
I think rap is a subgenre of hip hop.
Is that a fact, or am I ignorant?
No, not that you're ignorant. We don't necessarily think about it. We're just like rap genre, hip hop genre,
I just feel
R&B.
like they're used like very like interchangeably. Where I'm just kind of like it feels like rap is different. Like rap music, you have hip hop, which is I feel like this very like kind of like concentrated like boom bap kind of like all this like going back to like Tupac and all them, and then like rap has like this large umbrella of like different like
I get what you're
things, you know,
saying.
we're at like one point where Post Malone was a rapper, you know, but like was he really, you know?
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that. Kendrick, Drake. I feel like the reason why Kendrick doesn't like Drake is because he doesn't necessarily rip hop. I mean, he doesn't rip hop. He doesn't represent hip hop the way that it's supposed to be represented by. Hip hop was created by Black Americans.
Indeed.
And Drake came from Canada, and now Canadians have this thing where it's like, oh, they're super nice, they do this and the third, but Drake came over here and he's just like, oh, I'm a gangster, I'm
Like he's
mob ties, and I do this and the third.
He might be the greatest actor of all time.
Yeah, like that's what we think he is. He's an actor. He doesn't represent hip hop, but he makes good hip hop music. He makes good raps.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I think like I will agree that maybe like Drake has kind of ushered in this kind of like perversion of the genre in some way, where like who's to say if it's for the better or for the worse? You know, I do think like it introduces us to a lot more like, you know, unique and interesting acts. But I will agree that maybe I agree that that's probably why Kendrick doesn't like Drake though. That like because he's pretending to be like this guy that's like,
yeah, and
you know
he's trying to be the representation of hip hop now, and it's like no, like I came from hip hop, was raised from hip hop, and then Drake was a fan of hip hop. So it's like I understand where Kendrick is coming from, because you and me, we came from like listening to R&B from such a young age, and then we grew up to be like, we create music, we write our own lyrics, we do this and that third, everything that hip hop was created from.
Exactly. I agree. I don't know. I mean, it's very the genre in general has become a lot more commercialized, and so I think you lose a lot of the kind of like that feeling of, I think like you lose a lot of the community because of how it's kind of blown up to be like one of the most popular genres in the world, and like I don't like it has some adverse effects where like it has the Drake effect. Everybody is Drake now, you know, where it's like everybody thinks they're like this guy that's like, oh, I'm tough, like I'm doing all this, I'll do that. I'm like, you're not tough, bro. Like, you know, like that's one of my things about like when you know somebody like in the city. Like I've known people in the city that making music talking about like I'll kill you. I'm riding with my shooters. I'm like, bro, like we play Little League together, bro. Like you're not like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like there it has the kind of commercialization of hip hop has had like adverse effects on like how people act. And I don't really like it, but in general I think it's great, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like I noticed that too about some hip hop artists in El Paso. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I shoot this and I do this drug and this, that, and the third." And I'm just like, and he's like, "I'm from the Northeast. So am I, but I came out looking like this and I like anime and stuff."
you know what I'm saying? Like
Like, I
wearing
really
cardigans, bro, you know? Like
Yeah, and it's like I don't understand why hip hop makes people into something that they're not.
well, I think we all I think like that's it kind of goes back to what I was saying like oh just be who you are, like be who you actually are, you know?
Mhm.
Cuz like I just don't understand why. I mean, it's not like it's fire to like really like kill people and do drugs.
Yeah.
Like if you lived like that because you had to live like that, then like that's just how you had to live, you know?
Mhm.
I'm not saying that like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Please don't come after me.
You could come after me.
Crips. But not like that's how you had to live, that's how you had to get it. Like I understand. But like if you're not from that, it's weird to like claim it. I wouldn't even like when I'm watching like shows like Snowfall or like just like documentaries about like prison life or gang life, I'm just like I'm so glad that I'm not that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I'm not that because it's a dangerous life. I just don't understand it for real. But hey, I mean, this is an outsider's perspective.
I
guess.
get you. Is there anyone that you want to shout out before we, end this off?
Shout out Sims, the boy. Shout out Alec. Shout out Adi. Shout out Miracle. Mom, I love you. Shout out K Dot. You know who you are. Shout out and shout out me.
I
That's
respect it. Yeah. Self-love.
And shout out DJ.
Thank
Shout
you.
out DJ.
Well, this is my first podcast, so I hope I did right. I hope I did you right.
I liked it. It was fire.
Cool.
It was nice. It was a good time.
I really liked it too. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Ramal's links will be in the description. We have his Instagram, his YouTube. We have his Linktree, actually. So if you want to follow any of that, give him love. And yeah, thanks for watching.
You're the best.